All right, we're joined from sunny FLA by Anthony SanFilippo, who's nice enough to share some time out of the sun and everything that he's doing. Yeah, he writes a story here and there, but it's more about the Florida sunshine and all. So, Ant, tell us what's going on with our Philadelphia Phillies. What's the latest happenings, and how's things for you down there?
Yeah, well, guess what? It's not all sunshine right now in Florida. It's actually very cloudy, and a major storm is about to roll in. So it was an incredibly windy day here in Lakeland, which is where I was today. We're recording this on Monday, and the Phillies lost a game today, 13-6. Not that mattered, but boy, what an adventurous game it was in this ballpark because of the wind was just unbelievable today. Like, I mean, 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts just kind of affecting every ball that was put in play today. It was crazy. But it's been a good week down here, guys. Like there's been, all the big names are not around because of the World Baseball Classic. And so you get an opportunity to kind of really focus on, the down lineup guys and really kind of see, the battles for the last bench spots and the battles for the bullpen and kind of talking to guys about those roles. I think it's been an interesting thing in that regard. The one note I'll say about one of the regulars is JT Realmuto hasn't been seen since last Thursday. He was sick, and it was for multiple days. He poked his nose back into the clubhouse during the game on Sunday. He worked out on Monday in Clearwater, and they expect him back in the lineup on Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. So that's at least a positive sign. We were starting to wonder what the heck was going on with him, but it seems like he'll be back and ready to roll. So that's the one bit of big news as far as the everyday guys. The other bit of big news is Zack Wheeler. Obviously, since I've been down here, through his first live bullpen, first time he faced live hitters since he was diagnosed with thoracic outlet syndrome back in August of last year, through 22 pitches to 3 different hitters, Rafael Marchand, Otto Kemp, and Garrett Stubbs. Looked pretty good. He felt good. He hit 93, was sitting 91, 92. So you still got to get some velo back. But they were encouraged enough by it that he's going to throw another one on Tuesday. It's going to include an up-down, so he'll simulate what it's like to sit on the bench between innings of a baseball game and then throw. Rob Thompson told me today probably about 30 to 35 pitches is what they're looking at for him. And when you see that kind of progression, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets into a minor league game before they leave spring training. Like, I think that there's a real possibility that happens, maybe the last day. You could see him as soon as mid-April, probably mid to late April. And, man, that's an unbelievable time frame, considering when we first heard about this last August, there was a thought that this could be something that is so serious it could end his career.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. A guy there hoping makes 0 appearances in the minor leagues this year is Andrew Painter. Yeah. He started over the weekend. It's kind of been mixed results so far this spring, but what have you made of him and particularly his most recent start?
Well, I loved his first 2 innings of his most recent start. Like, I mean, he was really good, especially that second inning. He was blowing people away. And so, like, I really liked what I saw out of that. Then in the third inning, that's when he started to kind of, get behind in counts. He started to lose a little bit of his command, and he got hurt a little bit. And, but, talked to both Rob Thompson and Garrett Stubbs, who caught him that day. And the feeling was that, he was probably starting to feel a little bit fatigued because they actually pushed his pitch count a little bit further than they would normally do. And so that maybe that by that third inning, he was starting to feel it a little bit. Earlier in the spring, there were some red flags, Tim. I mean, obviously, you looked at it. He had 2 starts with 1 strikeout, not a lot of swing and miss on the fastball. And the fastball is now 97 instead of 99. It may eventually get back to 99, but right now it's sitting like 96, 97. And you got to wonder, he has to learn how to pitch or how to throw that pitch 4 strikes and get people to swing at it, right? And so I think a lot of that's going to be dictated by his secondary options, how he commands those. and then really kind of location on the fastball. And he did get some of that, like I said, in the second inning of the game on Saturday, or Friday rather. He looked a little bit better. So I think there is a progression, but I also think people need to pump the brakes on the expectations, right? Because he's going to be a number 5 starter for this team.
Sure.
So you shouldn't be sitting there thinking that he's going to come in and be Paul Skeens, because he's not. He's going to come in here and he's probably going to be just like most rookies, right? If you have an ERA around 4.25, you should be happy with that for a rookie, right? We'll see what it looks like, when that starts. But he's going to be part of the rotation, and at least for the beginning of the year, and then once Wheeler comes back, it'll depend on who's doing what at that point as to who goes where.
I'm going to go to the offensive side of the ball, and we have to be impressed with Bryson Stott and what he's been doing so far. And it was funny because the three of us were around the team last year, right when he made that major change. Yep. When he was up at bat and his hands were waddling around, swinging around the bat, and then all of a sudden they got to him and said, keep your hands still, bat on the shoulder, then, get yourself ready to hit, and boom, then he started hitting the ball better. So I think that's something that's lending to what Bryson Stott. And can you lend more to that, Anthony? And also, Alec Bohm. What do we got here? He's not going to get popped for steroids or something, is he?
I know, right? He hits 3 home runs in 2 games, and all of a sudden everybody thinks there's something up there, because it's a thing with the Phillies all of a sudden. But let's start with Bryson Stott. And the most impressive thing for me is that he is, and again, it's spring training, so normally you don't look at stats and say, oh, well, that's going to translate automatically to the regular season. But you look at it and say the same thing that he was doing in the second half of last season after he made that change, he's doing now, and he's finding success, right? So we don't want to dive into the specific numbers, but you see that he's really making good hard contact. He's driving the ball, and you combine that with the things that he's always done well, which is work pitchers. He's good with 2 strikes, doesn't strike out a lot, puts the ball in play. And of course, obviously, he's a very good base runner. You're starting to see something there. You go, okay, now this might be the guy that 3 years ago they were telling us one day he might win a batting title, or one day he might lead off and be, the prototypical leadoff hitter. Those things that we used to hear then, we might be starting to see that. And that, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I think that it's an important year for him. He needs to be one of the guys that takes that next step. And I think that he just might be the one to do it.
Final thing.
Well, and as for Alec Bohm, yeah, I talked to him a little bit about that, and obviously he's going into a contract year, so he's going to want to put up the best possible numbers he can. But he's really he feels good. He said, and guys always feel good in spring training, right? They feel healthy in spring training. But there's a point when you play through injuries sometimes. I was talking to Otto Kemp today. For example, he played through half of a season with a fractured kneecap last year. Yeah. And it changes your swing. It changes how your body mechanics operate when you're batting. Alec Bohm was going through something similar. Now that he's healthy and he's able to drive the ball while he's healthy, you're starting to see what he could potentially become. I'm just not ready to go down that path just yet. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I think everyone's reached their lifetime limit of this is the year Alec Bohm breaks out stories. The final thing for me is more a fun one that I know will trigger you. How disappointed are you tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day that you won't get to see the Phillies wearing green jerseys?
I don't care. I don't care, Tim. See, here's the thing. This is what I know. This is what I
said he was going to stir the pot. He got.
I sit next to Tim Kelly at 70 baseball games a year, 75 baseball games a year. And I sit next to him, not only because that they assign our seats right next to each other, because if I didn't particularly like sitting next to him, I would move, right? There are other spots I could go. So I really do enjoy Tim's company and his presence and having good baseball conversation. The thing that drives me nuts about Tim is he has these strange ass takes on the weirdest things, Bob. And one of them is all about uniforms. He is Mr. Sports Uniform. It's the most important thing. I love when somebody puts something out about a uniform. Tim is on it like white on rice. He's like, I got that. I'm writing that story. It's all me. And we're like, go ahead, buddy. I wasn't planning on taking care of that one. But like, it doesn't matter that they're not wearing a green uniform. Like, we see it. We've seen the bastardization of a Philadelphia Phillies uniform with the City Connect jerseys. So what the hell's the difference if they wear something ridiculous on St. Patrick's Day? I don't care. Might they wear green hats? Like, should they wear green hats? Like, I don't know. I guess they could. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter.
If you were Irish, you would feel differently.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I don't think so. I've been to over 1,000 NBA games. I can remember plays. I can remember the schemes. I know what the defense was of each team coming out of the game. I could watch a game for the 48 minutes that they play. We could go back and they ask me about a play. I'll know it. If they say what color uniforms were the teams wearing, don't remember. I don't care about that stuff either.
You haven't had any nostalgia this year when the Sixers wear the black uniforms?
I didn't like those uniforms either. So no,
right, neither did I. I think they were I think they're very
bad
blah.
take.
I think they're blah. They're very. You know why?
They're iconic.
But here's the thing, Tim, and I'll explain this to you.
Why? Because they lost in the championship?
No, here's what's iconic about them. They were the uniforms when the team was good when you were young, right? So if there's a uniform that I have an affinity for the Phillies, it's the powder blues. Because when I was a kid, they were good, and that was the uniform that they wore. If they wore pink and gray and they were really good when I was a little kid, I would say that's the best uniform. Bring it back. So I think that that's kind of the mentality, and I think that that's why you have that affinity for it. But I was a grown-ass adult when they were playing in 2001 in those black uniforms, and I said, these suck. Go back to the red. That's what the Sixers are.
No, so. It's more than that. It's because Allen Iverson was a cultural symbol. So those black uniforms got worn in everything. There's an episode of The Wire where Michael B. Jordan, now an Oscar winner, was wearing that Allen Iverson jersey. It's in countless music videos, and that has a cultural significance that is way beyond just
it does. It does have a cultural significance, but it has a cultural significance not because of the uniform, because it was Allen Iverson. If the Sixers wore purple and orange, and Allen Iverson was their player, that purple and orange jersey would have been in all those movies and videos and everything else. Like, so it doesn't have anything to do with the color scheme of the uniform. It has to do with the person who wore it.
So I'll end it with this, and maybe Tim, maybe this will give you a better understanding. The Phillies wore powder blue when I was a little kid. I was poor, and we had a black and white TV, so I didn't give a damn what color the uniforms were. For me, it was black against white, and that's all it was. So maybe that's why I don't have an appreciation for it.
There you go, Bobby.
Anthony, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your time down in Florida. Safe travels when you do come home, and we can't wait to see you when you get back here.
Thanks, my friends. Anytime.